Elon, my dear friend, we're honored to have President Trump. We're honored under the sponsorship and guidance of His Royal Highness to celebrate a U.S.-Saudi and a Saudi-U.S. relationship that is 92 years old, about how we move from an oil-based economy to an innovation-based economy powered by wonderful technologies that definitely you're one of the pioneers in this industry. We just showed to His Royal Highness some of your Optimus robots, and to President Trump. Let's talk about that. Tell me about them.
Yes, so we just showed several of our Tesla Optimus robots to His Highness and President Trump, and I think they were very impressed. In fact, one of our robots did the Trump dance, which I think was pretty cool.
The YMCA, yeah?
Yeah, to YMCA. So yeah, our robots can dance, they can walk around, they can interact. I think we're headed to a radically different world. I think a good world, an interesting world. My prediction actually for humanoid robots is that ultimately there will be tens of billions. I think everyone will want to have their personal robot. You can think of it like as though you had your own personal C-3PO or R2-D2, but even better. Then who wouldn't want to have their own personal C-3PO, R2-D2? That would be pretty great. I also think it unlocks an immense amount of economic potential, because when you think about what is the output of an economy, it is productivity per capita times population or capita. Once you have humanoid robots, the actual economic output potential is tremendous. It's really unlimited. Potentially, we could have an economy 10 times the size of the current global economy, where no one wants for anything. Sometimes in AI they talk about universal basic income. I think it's actually going to be universal high income, where anyone can have any goods or services that they want. A science fiction book recommendation that I have, which I think is probably the best envisioning of an AI future, is the culture books by Ian Banks. Very highly recommended for a non-dystopian view of the future. Now, there obviously are some risks, which illustrate perhaps if we don't do this right, you can have like a James Cameron sort of movie, Terminator. We don't want that one. But having sort of a Star Trek future would be great, where we're out there exploring the stars, discovering the nature of the universe, and a level of prosperity and hopefully happiness that we can't quite imagine yet. So I'm very excited about the future, and very glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's our absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
And His Royal Highness was talking to you about his vision and his dream to increase productivity for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and power up the region and the whole world with robotics, but also on robo-taxis. So how are we doing on robo-taxis?
So really you can think of a car or future cars as being robots on four wheels. And, I think it would be very exciting to have autonomous vehicles here in the kingdom.
Indeed.
If you're amenable.
You heard it here from Elon. He's bringing his robo-taxi to the kingdom.
Yeah.
He has another announcement that he's going to share.
Exactly. So, and I'd also like to thank the kingdom for approving Starlink for maritime and aviation use. Thank you.
Maritime and aviation. There you go. There you go.
So
you're going to bring us robots to help us increase our productivity.
Yeah.
Robo-taxis to make sure that our cars and assets turn into a cash-generating unit.
Yeah.
And Starlink to reform our aviation and maritime.
Yeah.
Talk about XAI.
Absolutely. But I should want to mention also something that may be worth considering is tunnels.
Tunnels.
So
The Boring Company.
I have this company called The Boring Company, which sounds kind of boring, but it literally bores tunnels. And actually, tunnels, in order to solve traffic, you really need to go 3D with roads. And by using tunnels, you can essentially create like a wormhole, like a warp tunnel from one part of a city to another and alleviate traffic. And we've actually already done this proof of concept in Vegas. So there are working tunnels in Las Vegas that you can use where that'll just, it feels like teleporting from one part of Vegas to another. So I always say that, my joke is like tunnels are underappreciated. It's a bit of a, not always a hit, but yeah, and then XAI is just trying to solve general purpose artificial intelligence. The goal with XAI is to have a maximally truth-seeking AI. And it's important to be maximally truth-seeking AI in order to understand the universe. Mm-hmm. So the goal of XAI is understand the universe, to understand what is out there, where's the universe going, where did it come from, what questions. In fact, I think maybe the biggest thing is what questions do we not know to ask? Like, once you know the question, the answer is usually the easy part. So the goal of XAI is to help understand the universe and yeah, that's the goal. And help people answer any questions along the way, of course. But that's my philosophy. My philosophy is one of curiosity, just trying to understand the nature of reality.
So I know you had a long day, but we also have the Honorable President and His Royal Highness Musaidi hitting the stage soon. Yes. So this is a historic day, a partnership about how we could join hands together, as we have joined hands in the past 92 years, on building a factor-based economy to help the world and power up 20% of the energy mix, which is very critical today to the AI intelligence age, the digital age, and how we have reformed, and with the intelligent age. And we could not be more appreciative of having a lifetime partner and a friend like you, Elon, to the kingdom.
Thank you.
Joining hands on XAI, Starlink, and robotics and Tesla. Thank you so much on behalf of the whole kingdom, and we look forward to continue the partnership. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. See.
All right.
Okay, I don't believe that Starlink is what it's for. I think that he's intertwined with the government so much more than he lets on. The people have all this faith in him. I don't like how he was brought up. I don't trust that he has anybody's best interest at heart besides his own. I don't like this recent interview I saw with his dad was disgusting, and that he comes from him. I just have so many reasons. There's nothing likable about him at all to me.
So what differentiates him from anybody else?
Any other billionaire or any other person in general?
Well, yeah, any other billion,
Like power, I guess.
Hmm?
Power is what separates him from anybody else. Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, I was curious if you had a special kind of hate for him or something.
Today it's not a good day for me and Elon with the South Africans coming into town and all that stuff. It's just.
And you have a problem with the South Africans?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because according to most people in South Africa, what's happening is not what they say is happening. I don't think enough information was given or vetted even if there were people taking their land, it's happening in Mexico. Like he's sending back like mothers and shit. Like a lot of people are getting sent back that are in need of refugee status, and he's just prioritizing these white South Africans. It's just bad energy. It's not good.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get your take on it. I don't really see it that way.
That's it?
Yeah.
You don't see
I
it
was just
that
trying to
way?
I was just trying to get your take on it,
You
and
don't
I
see
don't
it
see it.
what
That, I
way?
mean, I think it's
You
like
don't think that which way which way are you saying you don't see it as?
I just don't think it's that big a deal.
Well, so you do want to pay for that because I don't want to pay for
Pay
that
for
for
what?
sure. For the South African refugees. I mean, of things I choose to spend my money on, that's not one of them. I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I also the Crown Prince and Saudi and all that, like none of that stuff is awesome to me.
Okay.
It's not impressive. There's too much.
Well, I mean, I'm the sort I don't have opinions on a lot of things. I don't invest nowhere near that much energy or emotion into it. So I like to get, like for me, I see that and I'm just sort of it's almost like an out of body experience. I'm watching what they've got going on,
Mhm.
and I don't necessarily feel one way or another about it. There are certain things that are happening that are progressing. AI is progressing. There's nothing I can do about that. This administration is working the deals that they're going to work with Saudi Arabia. I don't know if that's going to be good or not, but so far, I haven't really had anything that I've seen that I've been wanting to super complain about, I suppose. Um, I do think that Elon is probably harvesting information for his AI, doing this stuff, but I don't know that he is. So I don't really talk like I'm sure I know what he's doing behind my back, but um, you know, I look at the kind of the whole I kind of like have the whole view, the the 1,000-foot view. So I have my eye like on possibly the digital control grid that may be implemented and if they're partnered with Saudi and that sort of thing. But
And
even then, I don't feel a way about it. I don't get twisted inside or anything. I
do
just
you do you think that Starlink has something to do with the digital control grid? Since you said it, like you wonder.
it could.
Do you look? I mean, I look every day because I have a Sky app that I look at the sky with, and the way that Starlink is surrounding us is unsettling to me. I don't believe that it's to give internet to the rural areas. I just don't believe that. And so it's just
Yeah, it's
unsettling.
like that line in the Goody Mob song. And sometimes I wonder if the gate was put up to keep crime out or keep our ass in.
Right,
Right?
exactly. That's what
Yeah.
it feels like. It's crazy.
Yeah. But since I don't know and the universe offers infinite possibilities, I don't really become emotionally attached to any particular outcome. So I don't my emotional pendulum doesn't swing back and forth like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It may be from
And
this.
I suggest, for me, I believe that more people should be like this and less emotional about it because they manipulate our emotions. They play on us, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I
I mean,
don't think
I
we're
wouldn't
supposed to
trade. I
have
wouldn't
emotions
trade.
about everything that we see, huh?
Yeah, I'm not emotional about everything we see,
I know I'm
obviously.
just
Things.
I'm not talking shit about you.
No,
I'm
I
just
know. I'm
saying,
just,
in
there's certain
general.
things that really just get under my skin, especially when it seems like these days politics and its corresponding actions affect people quicker than they used to, uh, if that makes sense.
Well,
Like
yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of virtue signals out there. If that's
well,
what I don't know if that's what
no,
you
not the
mean.
virtue signals, but the actual politics of it all. I feel like it affects us. When Biden was in office and they were Trump bashing, and when Trump was in office prior to that, and they were Trump bashing, and everything was the only reason why we were affected, in my opinion, is because the media was telling us that we were affected. Um, and so I'm well versed in removing myself from that and being affected by things like, what's on my little screen and my big screen and whatnot. But for some reason, this time it feels a little different to me. I can't put my finger on it. It just seems like things are moving more quickly, and I feel like we've been bamboozled to some extent. I'm very disappointed in Trump and what I do see, and that's irritating to me.
You're very disappointed, or you're disappointed in a couple things.
Currently, It's one, I mean, big
See,
things
because
though.
we talk in
Big things.
hyperbole oftentimes, and it's not exactly what we mean. So I just want to make sure that,
Right. I mean,
you're like totally disappointed in
I'm
his
okay.
presidency.
I'm
You wish we
not,
had Kamala instead.
hell no. Fuck no.
Like, what are you
Not
saying?
at all. No, but I'm more instead of looking at him as somebody that can make a difference besides making America take a good look at herself, because I feel like that's the only thing he'll probably be good for at this point. Um, besides that,
You heard he's gonna possibly recognize Palestine as a state, that him and Netanyahu are not getting along. Have you heard all that news?
I mean, is it still beachfront property? Like, I don't know. I don't. It,
Well, the recognition of Palestine as a state is fucking massive. Israel does not want that.
right.
That's a huge, that's a huge,
Is he recognizing? Is he
that's
recognizing?
massive right there. I mean, I don't know if it'll happen, but
Right.
listen,
Is he recognizing
but
Palestine as a
you see how
genocide?
I approach that is like I have no
Oh
dog in the
yeah,
fight. You know
obviously.
what I'm
Well,
saying?
I
Like,
know the South Africans arrived because we saw them arrive, so that actually did happen.
yeah, but it's not really affecting me like that. I don't have a personal opinion about it. I'm not trying to stick race into it about how they're white or whatever. I
Well,
don't think that matters.
well, it
I
doesn't
think that
matter,
it's
but that's why the
no,
land.
I don't.
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't.
Well, I
I think
mean,
we
yeah,
can
they're putting the
assume
race thing
that
in our
people
face.
are, people. We can make assumptions, but like the either way, it's not as if they didn't have a. There's no validity to their claim of needing
I
asylum.
don't, from what I've heard recently from South Africans, white South Africans, in fact, that there isn't really, but I'm not there and I can't say I don't understand the inclination if that
Yeah,
was happening, but
I
that's
don't
just who I
understand.
am.
Yeah, exactly. But what I do know is that there is no independent black state that is handling business in
What?
any sort of way.
Abraham Traore is not handling
Okay,
business?
actually, that's the new guy, right? The new
Yes,
there's
yes. And
there is
there's
a
three
yeah,
just like there's two
but
more just like
but what
him.
I'm saying is there's no African state that's like Italy or like
Of course
Russia or
not.
like
Of course
what do you mean?
not,
Of course
because
not.
because
Listen,
of what's happened been happening in
okay, I'm
Africa since the
sorry to
beginning of
say
time.
that.
I
Listen,
read way too
we
much
can't
to
keep
I
waving the
can't
victim
guess.
flag on
I'm not
this
waving the victim
Okay,
flag, but oh,
so
I said flag.
what I'm saying is there is not
But
one that
there's
we
a
could go
difference
to.
between playing the victim and actually being a victim. Africa has been victimized and bled and beaten and resources been stolen. Like the way, yes,
Okay, I am
this is a
not
trigger for me because
suggesting
I'm
that life
frustrated
is fair and that
that
things have
people
gone.
not
I'm not.
fair. It's
I'm
beyond
not
fair.
denying history, right? I'm not denying history,
It's not history. It's
and
current. It's
okay,
current
it's still
right
history.
now.
If it's happened, it's history, yeah, right? So
Well,
I'm
everything's
not
happened
I'm
apparently.
not pushing it into the past by calling it history either.
Um,
You know, but I know
but
that that's the truth, that there's nowhere that that we seem to have gotten our shit together and started building on something. And I don't think that that's universally white people's fault everywhere. I just don't.
okay, well, I didn't say anything. I mean, I didn't say anything about white in that instance, but they just happened to be. But the I have so many comments on that. I'll just say this. I believe that that right now is Africa's time, as long as the partnerships are co-productive and they don't keep getting, fucked over the way. And I say they as the whole continent, but it's almost the whole continent that has, I mean, what
You know,
France would turn
if
into a third
Africans
world
are doing
country.
their thing right now to expel what they feel is a threat, and
You
they
said, sorry, I didn't hear the first part you said.
said if Africans are doing what I don't, again, this is a situation that I don't entirely understand. I've seen interviews on both sides of the issue. I've seen the
Mhm.
president chanting "kill the boar" and all that
That's not the
stuff.
president. He's not the president. He's the leader
Ex-president.
of the people's, I don't know the exact term they use, but he's not the president. He was not
Okay.
elected.
Well,
Like a
whoever.
community leader, and that's in one
I
area.
could have sworn it was the president, but
No, you can check. That's my boy. I like him a lot.
Shoot to kill. Yamasa. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa, pa.
He has so much heart
yeah,
for his people, and I
yeah,
have
but
heart
I'm
for
not gonna like
people.
nobody that's standing up shouting they should kill
That's it.
somebody.
But do you know the history of that song though? I don't know if you.
I don't care the history of the song. But you
Okay, well
can't
then
get
you'd
up and
hate to
have
hear what
people
they would
yelling that they need to kill somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like psychotic.
kill the farm. Yeah, that's a Oh, come here, come here. Sorry, you gotta meet this guy. You just gotta get a look at him. Mm. Isn't he the cutest dude? He's so blackety black. No, you don't. He's very, very crazy these days.
Okay, you were saying?
Um, that it's not, he's not actually calling for the genocide of white people. That song is a mantra by people that was written by people and performed by people that have, in my opinion, every right to want
Yeah, but
those
you think every
people
black
gone. I
person has
mean, it's
every
the
right to
worst
like
place.
you
It's
think
as far as
you
apartheid,
hmm?
as the effects of apartheid, South Africa. It's such a horrible, horrible balance, and still to this day, and it's the white people hold what 70% of the wealth and 70% of the farms. There's been no effort to try to even the playing field. So yeah, I understand the frustration of the people. I don't think the song is in order. It's not. That's not happening. Like it's not. That's
Yeah,
just
I don't
that
like rap
the
music where they're
they
talking about killing other black men. So I'm
exactly.
not
I
gonna
mean, I
like
don't
hip
either,
hop. I mean,
but
so I'm not gonna like some dude chanting "kill the Boer." It's
I
not
didn't
gonna be my
say that. I
thing.
mean, but that's not his. That's not all he is. You know, his. Have you heard him talk
Again,
about his people? And like,
again, listen, I told you for me.
yeah, you don't care.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you kind
I
of
would literally
yeah.
kill myself if I was that way. Like to just not care about anything. That would be so horrible.
What do you mean?
Like I just couldn't be that way. Like I care
I care
about.
about things,
Okay.
not not things that are completely outside of my control. I have nothing to do with and
Well, I don't
don't
have a need to
influence.
control everything I care about. I don't need to
Huh?
control everything I care about. I don't need to control everything I care about. I just
I
care.
didn't say you need to control everything you care about.
Well,
I
that's why
said things that
you
are
said you
outside of
don't
my
care about things you
control.
can't control, or you
Yeah,
don't.
I
Okay,
said I
outside.
don't. Yeah, I don't care
I
about
don't
things
know
that
the
are.
difference.
Well, the difference is I have no influence in that arena, but I do have
Why
arena.
would you
I
need
have,
it?
but let me finish. But I have arena on things in my personal life, so I care about things like my health, like my friends, like my program. I care about the things that I can care about.
I do
I
too.
don't waste care on things that I have absolutely no influence
But
on.
how can you turn it off? Like I just don't.
I don't know how you can turn it on.
It just is.
Yeah. I don't, yeah, it's not on for me.
Things touch me so deeply. Like it's just I feel it. Like it's like a frequency. Maybe that's what.
Um, mm, there are so many different, there's so much I don't know, and people have so many varied motivations that I don't wade into stuff that I don't know. I don't talk about shit I don't know. And so like if I don't know about it, I'm not going to care about it. I'm not going to do a deep dive today to get into the history and find out what's really going on so I can care about it. I got other things to do.
Well, see, okay, see, I understand what you're saying. People have different motivations and such, and
I don't
I
know
feel
who's
like we
right
have
and
more.
who's wrong and if they're 50% right or 90% right. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Right.
And I know that different people's
I do check in
experiences,
though.
yeah.
I check in to see because I know that other people are more affected if they don't have the kind of discernment that we've kind of nurtured and grown in ourselves over the years. So I do check in, and I think that the emotions of the people affected are what affect me. Like I am drawn towards authenticity, and when I see people hurt and or I see people frustrated with the struggle, quote unquote, I just am drawn to them. Like my heartstrings get pulled, and I want to help, shit like that. And so
Yeah.
I get frustrated with the people
I
manipulating
just
the
I
minds.
love like heist movies, like Ocean's 11 type movies,
What? Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to explain to you. So, when Matt Damon dresses up like the accountant and he doesn't really know what's going on, and I would never say the N word, and he's playing that role.
Uh-huh.
I believe people play roles.
I do
So
too.
and you might be hurt, but that doesn't mean that you're not out to hurt somebody else. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? So like I just don't
I'm talking about authentic. Like you can tell when people have when they're
I don't like to
expressing.
see anybody in pain per
Right,
se.
right, right.
But this is a
A
duality
lot of these
matrix,
things
and so
were,
there is pain.
uh-huh.
There's pain and pleasure. You don't
There's a,
oftentimes appreciate how good things are unless you know how bad things are. It's how it is.
but I don't think that it's presented to us for no reason. Like I don't think it's presented to us
Right? I
to.
think it's presented to us to manipulate our emotions.
No, I was talking about the bigger picture
Yeah.
outside of the players on the stage. I was talking about the bigger, like, I feel like the things we're presented with in our existence are for us to do something with, not to just ignore.
Okay. So
Unless
do
that is the
something. So
lesson,
do
but
well,
that
but
could be the
like
lesson
following
too.
that logic, what are you going to do with the sun?
With the sun,
Yeah.
get it on my,
You see what I'm
but
saying?
any,
You can't do nothing with the sun.
with the sun, yes, I
Yeah.
can. I
You
can not
can't.
dim it. No.
All right.
No,
You can't do
like,
nothing
but
with
the
the
sun,
clouds
like
or
that's
the
a,
grass.
honestly, I can
These are all
say,
things that are in your experience and you
but
can't do nothing with.
but
So you
no,
don't
but what I
necessarily
do with
have,
the sun is I don't wear sunscreen. I go into it as much as possible. I let it in the rainbows, and I let
but
my
you're doing
cats
something with
bask in it.
yourself. And that's my
No,
point.
the cats too. Anybody that needs to
Okay.
heal, I bring them to the sun.
Okay. That's my point. You're doing something with yourself. You're not doing something with the sun.
I just said anybody that need. Well, yeah, but
Right.
okay.
You're doing something with yourself,
Oh, these
which is where your care should be. You can only do what you can do.
right.
That's it.
I can shake my fist at the sky and care that they're chemtrailing the hell out of us or whatever.
I mean, you can.
That's energy.
They did a good job of manipulating people's emotions and their empathy. And because of this, we have
What?
what we got right now. People are still being manipulated every day, and
Right.
that's why
But
we
they're
got,
also being manipulated over things like it's like I'll use the racism thing as an example. Like people are reactive and they're being manipulated and it's turning into trigger, 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 and everybody's freaking out. And also, racism is real as fuck. We've talked about this so many times. Like that's a good example. It's like they use real things to manipulate people. So the real things remain, even if it's manipulation.
um,
That's what I'm drawn to, the
okay.
authenticity and paying
Okay,
other
I hear
people.
you to some degree, but I think that racism is real is not a big deal. I think racism has always been around. People are discerning. It is what it is. I think that's so natural in life that it's like your children look like their parents. It's natural. I think racism is about the most natural thing in the world.
Um, okay, so I don't care if
And I think
anybody
it's always
doesn't
been
like
around.
somebody else or
Now,
whatnot. Like I
what
don't
I
care about the
no, what
the
I have a problem with is when it becomes codified into law, when it becomes statism, when it becomes something that's used to, you know,
stop people from getting home, stop people from getting jobs, from
from
stopping people
that
from
sort of thing. Yeah.
recognizing who their
So,
own
right.
history so that they
But
can
for
have
me,
the true
I,
story. Oh,
yeah. I mean, but for me, I look at the bad act. I can look at the bad act, and it doesn't matter the motivation was racism to me. What matters is you still acted like an ass. Don't matter
that's
what.
but yeah, but it is nice to know the cause of such things so that you can maybe try to eliminate.
Don't matter why. You shouldn't act an
Okay.
ass.
Huh?
To me, there's no reason that you're allowed to act like an ass. So stop it. There's no reason.
It's
For me, it's
written
just
into
super simple like that, huh?
it's written into there's land covenants and stuff like that. You're gonna have to face the racism at some point. Like if the reason you're not
Okay,
getting your
no,
land,
facing the law, facing the
the
courts,
law
that's
was on the
different.
side of racism though.
Right,
So
right,
what I
right. So,
don't
but that's different than facing racism, facing the law.
yeah,
See,
I mean, I'm not
race
affected.
has
I
to
don't
be,
care. Like all the names that I get called online and stuff like that, like those things don't bother me. What bothers
but
me,
race
like
has to be interjected into any, like I was telling somebody else, I was like, I think hate crime is not a thing. There's either crime or there's not crime,
I agreed with that. I agree with that.
right?
Yeah.
And the motivation for you hanging this black boy could have been race, but the fact that you hung somebody is the
Is
crime.
the crime, right? And same, it can go the other way when there's a lot of Asian people online saying that black on Asian, that the blacks are targeting Asians and this and that. And I'm like, it's horrible that you guys are experiencing crime. Like it's crime. It's horrible crimes happening to your community because, of where you live. There's proximity, there's all type of stuff, and that's awful. But that throwing race in it, I agree with you. Like throwing race in it is not necessary. It's not.
Well,
You're
that's
not
what
going
I
to
was
solve
saying about
anything by doing
the
that.
South Africans.
What'd you say?
That's what I was saying about the South Africans.
My thing is
I
nah,
don't really
but my
see
thing
race in that. I
as
think
a
that there
president
is
though.
I think that there is some validity to their claim. Therefore, them being processed is just like anything else. If I
But
thought
nobody
their
else is
claims were
being
valid,
processed though. You understand? Like
what
nobody
do you
else is
mean?
being processed. Like the Haitians are getting sent back, Mexicans are getting sent back, Guatemalans are getting sent back, El Salvadorians are getting sent back.
Yeah, I don't know
Nobody's
enough
coming in
about
except
that.
for
Yeah, I don't know enough about
you
that.
don't know enough about him, Trump's administration deporting people. I was going to say illegals, but they're not all illegals. They're not all illegals.
How is he
So
deporting legal citizens? What are you
I don't
talking
know
about?
why. I don't know how, but it's happening. It's happening. There's people,
Okay.
it's happening. I just heard testimony from a young man whose brother every single year he goes and he brings his work visa. He just has to check in and get a paperwork every single year. He's been doing it for 10, 20 years. I don't remember exactly the length. And it's gone fine every time. This year he goes and he calls his brother and he's like, they're detaining me. He worked, he has a job, he pays taxes, he's an upstanding citizen, he's not a criminal, nothing. And he said they're detaining me. By the time his brother got to where he was gone in Mexico. Like they're just going balls to the wall with this. And it at some point people have to kind of get out of the whole
Yeah, I don't see
fighting
that,
that
and I'm sorry for
this is
the guy that you're talking about,
there's
maybe,
a
but
lot more stories than that. There's the
yeah,
woman who
there's going to be a
she
lot more because they got to get 20 million people out the country, and that's
well
what it
then
is. What it is.
but they're bringing in you get what I'm saying? Like it's
Legally,
where's the
they're deporting the illegal people and bringing in people
no, they're
legally.
not all illegal, number one. Number
Brother, they're
two,
not all
hold
illegal.
on,
They're
one
not
second. Number
deporting
two,
American citizens.
number two,
They are all
these South
illegal.
Africans, how do we not know that they're criminals? How do we not know anything
Who
we
said
don't know
anything
anything
about
about
anybody
people?
being a criminal? Okay,
You said okay,
the
illegal
basic
is the criminality
they
of
are
some people. Some
deporting
people
illegal
did
immigrants and they're bringing in legal immigrants. Where's their problem with
they're
that?
deporting legal immigrants as
No, they're
well.
not.
Yes, they freaking are. And okay, let me say something. Yes, they are. And the
Okay.
other thing is
They're having
that
trouble deporting gang members.
hold
So
on,
I
hold
don't know
on.
where all
I want to
these
finish
legal
my sentence.
immigrants that
What'd you
you're
say?
talking about are coming from. They can't even deport gang members to some degree. They're getting all this feedback from the
Well, then
courts
they're
and
doing a
stuff.
horrible job because they're deporting people that in my opinion, definitely should not be deported. And another thing is this, even if people were here, like circumstances are different for everybody. If Trump wants to believe these South Africans, which spend a little time on TikTok and listen to other South Africans, maybe he would have a different set of opinion. I believe, I don't know, maybe he's just listening to Elon. I have no idea. And a song. But there's people who are terrorized by the cartel right next door to us in Mexico, right? We know the cartel, we know what they're capable of, and their land has been taken. And their entire way of life and their children have been murdered and or indoctrinated into these cartel systems. And those people, even if they don't have a visa or a green card or are an American citizen, those people are being deported as priority. And I don't find that to be fair. I don't think that that's
I
fair.
don't find I don't know that has any basis in fact.
What do you
They're
mean? If they don't have,
prioritizing
if they're not, if
they're
they're not a
prioritizing the
citizen, they're
families that
getting,
live next to
you
the
just said
cartels.
it. Maybe
That
I didn't
sounds
say it right. I
ridiculous.
just said what you said. So if they're here illegally, they're getting
Wait,
deported.
you didn't say what I said.
Yeah, if they're here illegally, they're getting deported. In my
Okay.
opinion, if they're being terrorized by the cartel, then they should be granted actual refugee status and they should not be deported. That every circumstance is different and that people need to be listened to as well because it's horrible
Okay,
over there.
but
It's
what
been
if they're
horrible. And if we weren't,
what if their cover is that they're being terrorized by the cartel, but they're actually cartel members?
then you're going to have to get a bigger team to look into this because you can't
No,
just
that they
prioritize.
gotta go. This is what I'm
Oh
saying.
my
No,
God.
they gotta go. That's
I'm sorry,
exactly
but
my
he's
point.
like,
No, we're
there's
not looking
children
into
with
all this
cancer
shit.
and stuff. Have
We
you
don't
heard
know
that
people's
about the children?
motivations. If
Like,
you
no,
are
I
in
don't
legal
think that the
status,
children, the
then
little
you
kids with
got to
cancer
go.
I don't think the little kids with cancer are cartel members. Maybe they
Little
will
kids,
be when they
what do
grow
you
up.
see? This is you sound like a Democrat.
That's fine, but it's actually true. It's
Suddenly you went
fine.
to the kids with cancer. What are you talking about kids with
I'm
cancer?
definitely not a
I
fucking
got the
Republican.
video of 20 million Americans pouring over this damn border. I
Yeah, I
don't
know.
care.
I know that. Of course I know that. Of course
So
I
then
know
what are you
that.
talking about the
And
kids
I've
with
been fine.
cancer?
I've been
How
riding with
many
it
of those that
against
poured over
all
the
popular
border are
opinion.
the
I've been
kids with
rolling with it
cancer?
until I started hearing the stories about the people.
Anyway,
That I
I
was
mean,
with you and
I
I was with Team MAGA on the deportation because people were there, obviously citizens were being affected
I'm not with
negatively.
Team MAGA.
Well,
I
whatever.
don't know
It's
what the
I
hell
mean,
that is.
sometimes you seem like you're very Team MAGA, but that's whatever.
What's
It's
that?
perception. It's nothing.
What?
Just
Okay,
an
so
opinion
listen,
based on an
again,
observation.
you sound like a Democrat. Like if
What do
I
you mean?
have an opinion that happens to be the same as
I
a
said
MAGA person.
I was with Team MAGA. That's not sounding like a
Oh, I thought you
Democrat.
said
I didn't say
me. I thought you
you.
was like saying
I
I
said
was Team
sometimes you
MAGA.
do because you took offense to it or whatever. And so
No,
I
I
said
didn't take
sometimes
offense
you
to it.
do.
I'm
But
explaining
that's
that
an
just
opinion based
because
off an
disparate
observation.
groups may share an opinion, it does not mean that they are aligned.
Of course. Of course.
Right. That's all. That's all I was saying. Like, I
I'm
might
not new
agree with
here.
them on this, but that don't make me MAGA.
Well, I'm saying that I was all with, I understood exactly what they were saying. I
Yeah.
saw it too. A lot of people did not. And I was trying to explain to people the effect of the illegal mass migration that was happening
Yeah, but
and all these.
you went
But I
from,
also,
you talked about the cartel members that are being
right.
terrorized by the cartels, and you talked
Yeah.
about the
Yeah. That's
babies
the only
with
thing that matters to
cancer.
me. Like that's
That
real.
is
That's
the
real.
slightest minority
Have you seen
of
what's
these
happening in
people.
Haiti? Have you seen what's happening in Haiti? Like those people deserve refuge. This is fucking that's America. Like people love to forget it, but that's America. Like there's South America and North America and there's America. Those
People
people,
deserve, yes. Listen, I don't
especially
know
if
that
we
I don't
as our
I don't
country
know
is the
that I
one that
agree with you that
destabilized
people
them.
deserve this necessarily. I think that's a strong word. I can understand completely your case for helping them. I get all
Right.
that.
Especially
But
Haiti.
but I listen, I understand. I'm not saying the Haitians don't need help, but I'm also saying that we could go over there and help. We don't do that.
We have, and it what you know how we went over there and helped this the
Okay.
way that America does in her very special way, which is why we owe them definitely more than
So
the
if you're
South
saying that we
Africans because
didn't
they ruined
help,
that
then we
place all
didn't
by
go over there and
themselves.
help. You can't say that it's not two things. We could go over there and help. We could go over there and
Uh,
we could build infrastructure. We could go over there and do lots of different things,
Give me
medicine,
your best guess.
all sorts
Give
of
me your
things.
best guess on how many NGOs are in Haiti. Your best guess.
Can I finish my sentence?
Fine, because we've gone to help though. I'm just
No,
gonna
no,
say.
because no, we haven't. That's the whole point.
Right.
Like you're not,
Right.
it's not,
Because
you're
and we
not.
shouldn't be
Okay,
allowed to go
listen,
back there
you're
now.
responding to the first half of what I said, and you
Yeah.
have to listen to the entire thing to get to what I'm getting at.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yes.
instead of going over there to help, we've gone over there to exploit, to capitalize, to steal,
Exactly.
right? So we
Mhm.
have not gone over there to help. My
Right.
initial point was if we went over there to help, but that's not what we're doing,
Right.
okay? Then
Right.
the
Which is
Haitians
why.
would not necessarily need to come here.
Right, exactly.
So these
And with Mexico, I feel like
right. So the only solution is not to let Haitians come over here illegally. That's not the only solution.
right, but the other solution has been executed horribly. So I would say
No,
like
it has
since
not
that
been
happened,
executed
no, it well the
at
purpose
all. It
people's
was never
okay,
the intention.
give me your best guess on how many NGOs are in Haiti.
15.
10,000. You know how small that island is? Do you know how
Yes.
much people have taken
Again,
advantage of
the
those
point
people?
was
So
never
my
to
point
help
is
them.
that if since no, I know, but you think you want to take on the task of instead of allowing the people that are being terrorized to come here, work and have a life for
How about
themselves
we
and their
get rid of the
children.
terrorists and help them in their own country? Like I said,
America has done a number
like I said, listen, I'm
on
not okay, but you're
like
missing the point. You're
a
completely
lot of that
missing the
stuff.
point. The only way to solve this problem is to not let illegal Haitians come into America.
I
There's
didn't
more
say
than
that,
one
but
way to
if we're
skin a
gonna
cat.
if we're gonna let people in for whatever reason, like there's people
We're going
that
to let
like
them
if
in
we have a
legally,
queue,
like they're doing in South Africa.
right? But Trump is not giving anybody a choice. He shut down the migrant program. Like it's
Okay,
shut
so
down. So
when he
except
reopens
for
it, he's going to reopen it.
except for white South Africans. So that's the
Okay.
thing. So that's a little bit discriminatory and frustrating to look at from.
Listen, but I
I
don't
mean,
know enough about this to get into that argument. I don't know that he's necessarily trying to discriminate. I don't know that this,
he's
again, I
not
don't
trying.
know.
He
I just
just
don't know.
is.
I'm not attributing what I think people feel. And like, again, this is way too much. I'm not in junior high school.
What does
I
this
don't
have to
know
do with
this
junior high school? I
nigga.
wasn't talking about this stuff in junior high
Like
school. Like I
if I
didn't
was
even
talking
know
to
who the
like my
president
homie,
was
I
in
would say,
junior
look,
high
I don't
school.
know this nigga. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know.
Right. So I look at things at face value. Like if I'm gonna believe the shit that I see and
Believe
until
what?
something else is brought to the table
Yeah,
for
I
a
don't do
completion
belief.
of
I
the
do
story.
knowledge.
What'd you say?
I don't do belief. I do knowledge.
Yeah, you're not okay. I hate to break it to you, and this is a bit of a spoiler alert, but you're not probably gonna get all the answers. So at some point,
Right. I'm gonna need
my
more than what
advice
I
would be,
got. I'm definitely
would you
gonna need
say?
more than what I got. I don't need all the answers, but I need more than what I got. Yeah, I
See,
mean, personally, I kind of feel like people put too much emotions. This is just me personally. I think that people put too much emotions into things that they can't control, and they need to worry about what they can control, what's in their immediate environment and what they have influence over. And that's just my personal opinion.
I mean, that
That's
is
how
the nature. That's the nature of social media and the news and everything is like to you
I
know
might don't fall into that trap. Don't fall into that trap about feeling some kind of way about every single thing. I mean, it's
who
exhausting.
does that? Every single thing.
But
That's
you know what
crazy.
I mean? It's exhausting, you
It is.
know?
It's exhausting for sure. And an activist from an activist mind state, I do wish to help. So I
I
don't know
know.
if caring
Wish there was
is
something that
the
you could
starting
do.
point for that,
I
but
understand
that's
that.
where I'm at. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I wish there was
And I
something.
also want to believe in something. Like I don't want to disbelieve everything. I want to believe in something, not so badly that, oh, like that I'm going to believe the politicians are actually going to do what they say they're going to do. But I do want to believe that there's good people and that there's good things that can come from them. I do.
I don't know what we said about anything that would make you not believe that. Of course,
Well, because I don't know.
there is good.
Everybody
Of
has an
course.
agenda and
Look at
everybody has a
you. Look
motive
at
and everybody
me.
has,
That's
yeah.
good. Of course.
Yeah. Well, we have control over us.
That's exactly right. Bam, there you go.
Full
That's what I'm talking
circle.
about.
I gotcha.